Well, howdy, everybody. Oh, look at that. Everybody gets to see my back thing. Something's not working well there at the moment. Very interesting. All right. I might just deal with that while Mark take away the show. Say hello to everybody.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm sitting in my mansion, and Vince will be back in his pretty soon, I'd say. Welcome to the show. We've got an interesting-ish show this week. We've both been very busy, so we haven't been able to get to the exact things that we promised that we were going to come back with from last week, but we'll hopefully entertain you for an hour and get to where we need to go. We've got some news, just a little bit of news coming up from some announcements in the sector. What was the major thing you were just saying you wanted to do, Vince? We wanted to
talk about how big or how you should position your portfolio. Right, so how much should you actually do when it comes to crypto? So obviously, everything that we say in this program is not financial advice. Definitely don't take financial advice from me. I'll guarantee that for a point of fact. I'm just going to throw stuff out there for you that you may or may not want to use. Mark, however, is probably a little bit better off than what I am in that. He's been guessing better than I have. But really, when it comes down to how much would you spend on the crypto market, the very first piece of advice that I would give is only put in as much as you're prepared to lose. Right? So, you don't want to put in your house loan or anything like that into it, because there's a very good chance that you could lose it, because remembering that the crypto market is an unregulated market. But if you're going to build up a portfolio, what percentages should you use in your portfolio? And what I mean by portfolio is that, let's say that you had $1,000 to spend. Where should you put that $1,000? Okay, how much should you put into what we would class as a blue chip coin? How much would you put into what we would class as majorly gambling? Right? How much, just like a stock market, how much do you want to put on a stock you think is going to go up well? And how much are you going to put in for a stock that may do well? Or how much are you going to put in for a stock that is a Hail Mary? All right, so that sort of thing. How would you divide up your portfolio? So I don't know what Mark's ideas are on that, but I thought I might throw it out to him and see what he says.
Well, I probably don't practice what I preach. Is at the moment, that's probably the worst thing about my portfolio at the moment, is that I ended up just obviously you'd know what coin I'm in, but I'm pretty much solely in that coin at the moment. I've got a little bit of some other stuff, but I basically consolidated over to kind of my one shot, which I need to find. I will find a video of a bloke that's from a long time ago that's very, very qualified, and he talks about only in sort of having that, investing in that one shot coin, but he talks about how you do it, and that you must be right. You have to be certain about what you're doing. And that's the only reason I've kind of consolidated into what I have, is that I'm pretty sure that I think I'm over the target. I think I'm in the right area, and then I'm going to go pretty well with what I'm doing. But yeah, otherwise you've got to, like, for $1,000, say we said $1,000, which it might be a lot of money to some people, but to the rich people in the world, that's not a lot of money at all. And in this market, it's definitely not a lot of money. So for $1,000, I would say you kind of have a shot at one coin. You maybe have a shot at one blue chip, and then you maybe peel off 10% of your 1,000 or something and throw it at something, probably 10% max. 5 to 10%, throw 50 or $100, throw that at a meme coin or something crazy that you might think you might get 1,000 return on, and go from there. But with $1,000, you don't want to lose your 1,000, especially if it's your only 1,000 that you've got to get in. So I'd go with something pretty solid, something that you know that you can see gradual returns, but it will give you a really good base and confidence in the market to be able to put that in, see it sitting there, maybe coming down just a touch because the market dipped, but most of the time either going sideways or sideways and up. That gives you a lot more confidence to start chipping away at your target and saying, okay, maybe I can throw an extra $5 or $10 here, not buy that coffee, not buy that whatever this week, and I'll throw that into the coin. That's literally kind of how my mind state when I was building up my portfolio. That's where I was at with things. I kind of looked at it. Some of the Michael Saylor, if people know about Michael Saylor, he's the guy that's running one of the biggest Bitcoin funds in the world at the moment. He's already talking about how people will start to see prices in Bitcoin instead of walking around and seeing a car and seeing it's worth $50,000. There in your mind, you're going to start thinking of that's X amount of Bitcoin. And I've already been doing that with XRP for years now, where I'd walk around and I'd see that's nice. I'd like to buy that thing. And then I go, well, that's 500 XRP. I have that.
That's a pretty cheap car.
Yeah. Or I could buy another 500 XRP. And that was the mind state that I was in with a lot of things. So for me, that my portfolio is definitely, it's one-sided. And I got to the point where I looked at the crypto market and said, this is the future. And as long as I'm in one of these blue chips where it's kind of sideways or sideways and up for most of the time, it's a kind of a safe bank for me. And in a way, Ripple and XRP is designed to be a personal bank for you. So I used it. I'm not sure I can't remember if I explained this on the channel before. I know privately to you, but I kind of I took my wage every week, every couple of weeks, and I'd get paid, and I'd say, this is what I need to survive for my next 2 weeks. And I'd put that aside. And then the rest of it, I'd pretty much put into cryptocurrency. And I'd use also then with my CoinJar account, I apply for a credit card with my CoinJar account. So they send me a credit card, which if I needed my savings, if I needed that money that I was putting, if something happened and I needed that money and I needed it in a second, I could pull out my CoinJar credit card and I could access that money. So to me, yes, it would vary with the market going up and down, but to me, as long as it didn't crash to zero, which I had quite a lot of confidence that this, especially with XRP, it's not going to crash to zero. It is a blue chip. And so it would most likely hold most of its value. So I kind of had a lot of confidence that I could just chip away week after week and build my portfolio. And in the end, it's absolutely paid off. I'm doing very, very well compared to where I started. So that's definitely one way you can, for anybody out there that doesn't earn a lot of money. I didn't earn a lot of money either, but I just chipped away, and you can definitely get there. But yeah, otherwise, if you're looking at $1,000, I'd say do your one good coin that you really think, yeah, that's going to change the market, that's going to do its thing, and then have a bet with something else. If you go up to $10,000, maybe go to two coins. But I still wouldn't be varying too much. I'd be still kind of looking at what is a really solid product in this market that's going to do something special into the future. Invest in that now. And hope that time does the heavy lifting for you.
Yeah.
Don't try and do the trading in and out. Just let time do the heavy lifting for you, and you will come out in the future most likely up. And I think it's going to be not just up. I think you're going to be very happy. There's no way, like Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple. He holds the same opinion as me. That I remember watching him say it. He go, yeah, that's what I thought. That there's going to be 40 or 50 coins left. When all is said and done, there's not going to be thousands and thousands of cryptocurrencies out there doing their thing because they don't have any utility. They don't bring any value to the market. There's only going to be 40 or 50. So do your research, have a good look into these things, and when you're making your bet, kind of don't don't do it just on a whim. Try and feel like you can stand in what you've done with a lot of truth and a lot of grounding, where you're like, yep, I'm comfortable with what I've done. I'm happy to let that sit and let it do its thing. And there's only going to be a few coins out there that are going to give that security kind of thing, because most of it's up in the air, kind of pie in the sky stuff.
Well, that brings back that situation when you're going to look at your portfolio. Just how many coins should you have in your portfolio? For me, basically, if I had 1,000, right, I would definitely put somewhere around 60%, maybe 70% of that into a 1 or 2 main gold chip type coins, right? And then if I wanted to take a little bit, I would take, say, if we did 70, I'd take 20% of that and put that into the second layer of the gold chip coins, things like SUI or BNB, for instance, in the top 100. And then that last 10%, that could be my gambling. That's where I might want to choose one of the meme coins that I think might take off, or et cetera, and so on. So, but just how many coins should you have in your portfolio? I'm saying somewhere between 5 and 10, because it makes it manageable.
Yes.
Right? I wouldn't go any more than that. Saying that, I have a lot more than that, which is why I'm trying to trim it down.
I was exactly the same. I used to have so much. But it was so fun. I used to love it. I loved keeping track of everything. And if that's what you're into and you've got the energy and the time to do it, then go for it. That's like, if you can do it and manage these things and make some money, then go for it. People that trade, they're doing lots and lots of stuff. But for the average Joe, you're only looking at 5 coins, maybe 10 coins that are going to really help you out. Other than that, you're gambling a lot. And if you think you're not gambling a lot, you definitely are. You definitely are if you've got more than 10, because the top 10, even the top 10 coins at the moment on the coin market cap, some of those are very questionable.
Yeah, well, in the top 100, I can see some new arrivals that are in there. I'm just actually seeing if I can bring that up and show that, which will be that one. And that's it there. That's the current top 10. We've got a question from Donna there that says both BRICS and America plan on using XRP. Is that true? Let's say there's a significant amount of rumors that point in that direction. Is there actual valid fact to that? No, not at this stage. But enough of the lineup, the fact that it went through a court case, the fact that it's been designated as not a security, or is it a security? I can't remember which one it was. But effectively, those steps and the fact that Ripple is making severe movements into the banking system sort of points in that direction. So I would say it's a pretty good bet that that's what's going to happen. I don't know about BRICS, but definitely in America. You have any comment on that one, Mark?
Only just that from some of the research I've done, I think XLM could be added to that list as well. That BRICS, a lot of the BRICS nations have some involvement with XLM. So I definitely say yes with XRP and also with XLM. It depends on sort of which way they're going to navigate the payment system kind of thing, because it's XRP is more cross-border stuff, where XLM I think is more peer-to-peer driven. So I guess it depends on who's paying who for what they're going to use and how they're going to do it. But yeah, for those 2 coins, 100%. If I was betting, I'd bet on that's what's happening.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the actual chart of the top 100 coins. You can see here that at the moment, Bitcoin has lost a little bit of value. It's at 117, and it's going down, which does raise one of the other questions that I was looking at. Just how long will this bull market last? And what are my opinions on that? So generally, I think we've probably got a couple of months left before we start seeing some drops. It may go a little bit longer than that, but this dip here It's not something to worry about. This is just a normal dip, and it's got the advantage of giving you the ability to do some buying here. And we also see that Ethereum is in that XRP. So here's our top three. Tether, well, it's $1. $1 is $1. So either way. BNB, Solana, another stable coin, USDC, Doge, which is a meme coin. Lido staked Ether. See, that's a new one that's popped in here. I haven't seen much of that one. So let's just click on that one for half a sec. Quite often you'll get things that appear in the charts rather quickly. Now, if we go out for a year, let's find out just how long they've actually been. Well, they've been in the market for a while, apparently. Let's go to Max.
What is Lido staked? I mean, what is it? It's up 500%, right?
Yeah.
But what is it? What's it do?
Well, that's a good question. And if you're wanting to investigate something like that, this is where you come down and you go and start looking at. So we can see that that's an Ethereum contract because it's got an Ethereum symbol up there. And you know what I think about Ethereum and their fees, but still.
So it's just it's a token that represents your staked Ether in Lido. Yeah. So it's not really anything. It's kind of shouldn't be there.
Yeah. So while it's high, it's got a Reddit, a Twitter, and a Telegram, but it doesn't really seem to have a website. Oh, yeah, it does here. Sorry. Blog.lido and lido.fi. So staked ETH, that's really just wrapping, just taking your ETH and staking it, and then offering a return for that. So would I shoot into something like that? If I had a lot of ETH that I could afford to tie up, maybe. Right, but then transfer fees and the amount it costs to transfer into the staking and then bringing it back out may not be worth it. So, you got Tron, you got Cardano, now you've got another wrapped Bitcoin, Hyperliquid. These are the areas up in this top 20 sort of area is where if you're going to pick a couple of coins, I'd be looking at picking them from here. These are your blue chip areas.
If you even go, just scroll back up. I'll give you a couple that have been around forever that I used to own, but I would own. Come down for me just a little bit. So you've got Tron. I don't like Tron a lot, but they just rang the bell at the maker, I think, of Tron. I think you'd call him the creator of Tron. Just rang the bell at the stock market the other day. So crypto's going.
Justin rang the bell, did he?
Yeah,
he always likes ringing the bell.
You've got come down a little bit more. Cardano is going to definitely do some things now that they've done some deals with the US government. Come down a little bit more for me, a little bit more. Sui, I don't know much about Sui, but I hear a lot about it. It's definitely going to do something good. Chainlink.
Sui's doing something well.
Stella's going to do its thing. Chainlink for sure. Hedera Hashgraph, HBAR. That's anybody out there that's got your $1,000 at 26 cents. That's a great buy. They're doing a lot of things with the Australian government. They are going to.
So I don't know if that's actually a benefit or a disadvantage. We're talking about the Australian government here.
Yeah, the Australian government sucks, so that's not really good. It might not be a good thing, but hey, you probably make some money. You might be not liking life with the new rules that they gave you, but hey, you might have some more money in your pocket, so that could be okay.
See, another one that's been around a lot here in this one, although Bitcoin Cash has been, it's always been pretty on the side, but Avalanche or AVAX is another very active coin.
Yes.
So that's another good one that you could look at. So if you're looking to do 2 or 3, diversify a little bit in your top level portfolio, AVAX is another good one. Although the trouble is buying at $24.29.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the thing with this, isn't it? It's about like when you've got $1,000, like you don't get a lot.
No.
And that's what people start looking at it. Like, that's why most people they want to find those things that are like under $1.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just it's the psychology of a human. I remember it just doesn't change. It was exactly what it was like when I got in the market. It's just still the same. People would rather, and is why I think you're going to see Stellar and XRP pump, because compared to somebody that, if someone new coming into the market, they've got their $1,000, they got their $10,000, they look at Bitcoin, they look at Ethereum, they're so expensive that they're like, well, I can't really get a full one, or I can't get much of that, but I can get 1,000 of these other ones.
Yeah.
And
well,
that
like
makes
Peppy,
sense.
which is a meme coin here, but it's been in the top 100 for quite some time. But you can see that you can buy a significant amount of those.
You little Pepe. I reckon
whatever.
Pepe is going to keep pumping, hey, because that's the Q. That's the one that's adopted with Q, kind of adopted coin. So it's sort of.
And if I remember correctly, I think it's on the Solana chain, so it's not an ETH one, but I might be wrong with that. Well, one way to find out. Let's have a quick look.
Polkadot there, a little couple up. That's also
yep.
That'll be a good. That's a good blockchain to look into for people. Monero has been around forever. That's a privacy coin. If you want to be private, you don't want people to know where you're sending your money, get yourself some Monero.
Come on, my internet is really playing up.
A little bit slow.
That's what happens. See, I live in a country town, and I have fiber to the node, and I get a whole 50 megabit per second. Yippee! But
yeah,
right,
we've got people in the comments. We've got Theta. Yeah, definitely buy some Theta. That's going to do. Yeah, there's Theta and Theta Fuel. Theta's going to pump. It'll do its thing. I've never had Shiba Inu, but everyone that buys Shiba Inu loves Shiba Inu. But they're also saying in here that they sold their Polkadot and Shiba for XRP. Yep. Smart move. Smart move.
Agree with that. I don't know what's going on here. I literally can't get anything to happen on this page. It's just spinning.
That's all right. We could probably. That's all right. Unless you want to keep talking about coins, we could move on to some other stuff. But.
Well, I was going to say, one of the things, if you're looking up stuff, like Ainsley Bullion, of course, our current silver rate has dropped a little bit. But Ainsley does some very good crypto analysis papers. So if you sign into Ainsley and tag them, they will actually give you a bit of an idea of what's going on with the major technicals in the market, along with what's happening in the crypto market. And this is just one of their analysis of the global liquidity of the macro cycle for this July. And they spend the time going through it. The US growth remains lackluster as inventory-driven products rebound and so forth. But you can see they give you full-on charts of what's happening in here. They have a whole nother story about what's going on with XRP. I've got another major technical over here, which actually really interesting, the title. That. Major technical indicators warn of a potential market volatility. So they're still talking about this market crash that's supposed to be coming. And there's a lot of people that are predicting that's going to happen this year. So one has to wonder. I'm going to go back here, stop that, refresh. See if I can get that to work.
What
hey, there we go.
Oh, you got it.
All right. There we go. So here's Peppy, right? From what it used to be, what are we looking at? We're on max. Okay. To how high it actually got. Now, that doesn't look like a lot, right? 4 zeros and 2643. So, but if you bought it down here somewhere where it was 5 zeros or 6 zeros, you're going to actually make a significant percentage increase on your purchase. So if you threw $100 in there at that, then you've probably earned $300 back from that. So that sort of gives you a bit of an idea. That's not the exact figures. But when it gets up higher, that's how people make a lot of money out of the smaller coins, because they buy thousands upon thousands upon thousands of them. And then when it jumps or doubles, they sell it. And that's how they make their money. I actually was listening to a lady the other day on a show. She rang up because she needed some financial advice. right? She was working in a tech company, and they weren't doing all that great. But they decided they were going to go onto the market and sold shares to their employees. Right. And so she bought some shares and then left the company. Didn't realize she had the shares. 5 years later, she's just heard a bit about the company. She decided to chase it up and have a look at it. So from her shares that she bought, which was only about $14 or $15 or something, she now has a portfolio of over $18 million. Right? Because it took off. So one happy lady there. But that's the same sort of thing that can actually happen here. You can end up just taking a gamble. And that's why I say 10% only for a gamble. But you could take a gamble and, take something that was, 0.000002 that suddenly goes to 2 cents and you're rich.
Yeah.
Because it's timed by, 10,000%. So, but the chances, well, I've been trying for 7 years and haven't succeeded yet. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, I've never lucked into one like that. I remember when I first got into cryptocurrency, you couldn't buy it anywhere. It was really, really hard, and it was in Australia anyway, and it was really hard to get Australian dollars into the market. And I first joined with Coinbase. They'd allow me to buy, and they'd let you buy $150 a week of cryptocurrency, no more. So it was really, really hard to get money in. And I remember sitting there watching, this was when XRP was 1 cent. And I remember sitting there watching, I was saying, what's this XRP? I don't know about this XRP. And the Ethereum was on the platform as well, but I was just trying to buy my Bitcoin. So I was in there I'd buy them $150 at a time, or $6 or whatever they'd give me for the day that I'd be allowed to spend on their platform. And I'd watched XRP just sit there at 1 cent and didn't do any research, didn't know what it was, just happily sitting there trying to buy my Bitcoin. And then one day XRP went from 1 cent to 40 cents in one day. And I was just like, oh man, don't I wish I'd pushed the wrong button and accidentally bought myself some XRP. So if you'd put $1,000 in then, you would have made 40 grand in one day.
Yeah. That's right. And that's exactly how it can happen.
I'm hopefully going to catch the next one of those for XRP, but it's never happened. It hasn't really happened since, but it's warming up.
Ainsley's basically predicting that XRP will hit $5.
Oh, that's a certainty. That's a certainty.
I believe so too. I think in this bull market it will quite easily hit that $5 mark.
I think we should see like 20 this year, like at the end of this bull market. I think it got suppressed for 7 years. It's just broken out of a 7-year bull pennant. Which, if you want me to show you these things, I can do that. If you want me to, give you, let me spend 2 minutes showing you this stuff. I can show you what I'm talking about.
Okay, so King Duck reckons he had 50 million Shiba until last night. We'll build it back up. Do you really want to? The question is Shiba going to move? Remember, we've got massive amounts of coins there, which is the whole reason for trying to bring down and bring your portfolios back into something that's more manageable. Because as Mark said, there's only going to be, at the end of all of this, eventually it'll come down to only those that have a really good base for something for the people that are actually going to survive. So so that's a good question. I don't know what you should or shouldn't. I wouldn't. I'm not sure what Shiba's things are. I haven't investigated it enough. Hang on, what's this one? It's only got to move a few. Well, yeah, I've got a few coins that have that. It's only going to move a small amount to make a fortune. They're moving okay, but in the wrong bloody direction. So, yeah. All right, 75% down from when I bought them. So, yeah, I'd be careful. So you've got something there, Mark. Let me add that to the stage.
Yeah, if you want, I'll just show you what I was talking about with TradingView. All right. So this is a weekly on XRP. And I'll just try and bring it into view there. All right. So this here, this formation here, this big triangle shape, that is 7 years of consolidation. You can see back here, we got 2017 down here. We went up 2018, and then we pumped. We did normal market cycle, same as Bitcoin, everything else doing its thing. We got back into it. We started to ramp up again in the normal cycle, same as Bitcoin. We got to here, and the SEC sued Ripple right there. And then it went boom, and we missed out on the normal bull run for XRP. So we didn't go to a new all-time high. We didn't break the $3.40 up here. And every other coin that year, every other major coin, they did break new all-time highs. They did. They didn't get sued. They didn't get sued on their way up here. So they made it through a full cycle all the way up and then back down and then into 2025 over here. So XRP has now, it got forced into a 7-year bull pennant and is now broken out of that bull pennant over here, going out here. So, and what top analysts will tell you, or any analyst that teaches anything worth listening to will tell you, that the longer the base, the higher in space. That's the saying.
Yeah, but the question being was, because of the fact that the SEC was the one who actually was limiting that, is that an artificially elongated base? That's the question.
Well, yeah, in a way, yes, but that even though it's artificial just from that, technically it's got more energy pent up still because it didn't get to release it. So if you look at this is a waveform in energy and market cycle energy from humans doing their thing. There's a whole lot of XRP holders out there that have invested for a lot of money and for a long time, and they're still pumping money in, and they're still doing their thing, and more people are coming in. So in a way, you've got this energy that has to be released. And that's why they say the longer the base, the higher in space, because it's just building the bigger and bigger support base. So if they were to try and drive the market back down, it's got so much more support underneath it that the market will hold that price up. And that's one of the big things that's happened. Like I don't think there's a coin. I follow a lot of analysts, and I don't think they've identified a coin that has a 7-year bull pennant like XRP. XRP is pretty much the only one that's got this much pent up energy and is ready to go. So
question here, because XRP has already done a significant rise, right, from its 70 cents to $3.40 something over the last 4 or so months, is it worth buying?
It's a really good question. That's what I've been looking at that myself a lot. It's like, for me, an H bar and depending on how much money you've got, depending on how much time you've got to wait in the market. Yes, XRP, if you've got a lot of time and you've got a decent amount of coin behind you, yeah, XRP is still a really good buy, because it's going to change the world. It's going to go to prices that people don't even fathom in, say, 20, like when we see 2030 prices. This bull market, I'd say we might just see a normal cycle run through. I think we could get to $20. I think we could really go that high. But over the next few years, when we see utility, it's going to do something special. So it's going to be a really good buy. But if you're looking to kind of build up your portfolio with a bit of quick coin, XLM and HBAR, they're really good buys. They're under $1 Australian still. You can buy a lot of those coins for not a lot of money. You can still get thousands of those things you can spend $500 and still get 1,000. That kind of thing, which psychologically, that's really, really good. That's a really good thing for you to have, because you look at your portfolio and you kind of go, I've got X amount of these. If you can dream, you can smoke the hopium, and you can dream a bit and, and say, well, if X happens, I'll have this much money. And that's a good thing for them, like for you psychologically, but you got to be realistic with the coins you've bought. But for me, XLM, it hasn't done like over here. So it hasn't broken its last market cycle's all-time high. And it hasn't broken, it's even got close to its all-time high. So you still got, what are we looking at? 80%. You still got an 80% move to go before you hit all-time high for XLM. So it's a pretty good buy. Where XRP, it's kind of technically going into price discovery now. So it's, who knows where it's going to go. So yeah, that's a pretty good gamble too. It just kind of depends on how much money you've got. If I was getting into the market and I didn't have anything, I'd buy XRP, XLM, and HBAR. They'd probably be my 3 coins that I'd buy.
So you wouldn't buy any Bitcoin in that?
No, probably not. Unless if I was a millionaire, maybe. But even then, it's kind of like the returns on that. It's got to, like, what if it gives 100%? You're at 300,000 Australian. That's a long way away still. That's just a 100% move. Where if you go 100% move with some of these other coins, it's you don't. Sorry, I shouldn't put it that way. I should say the amount of money that comes in to the market to make Bitcoin go 100% is an obscene amount of money. Where if a portion of that trickles out of it and goes into some of these other coins, which it doesn't take that much money to make some of these other coins pump 500, 1,000%. So it's long-term hold. I think they're going to let Bitcoin live, but
you may let Bitcoin live.
They definitely going to let it live. The government seems to have decided that they're not going to do anything bad to it, but I don't know. The governments, they're definitely hiding some kind of information about Bitcoin. Like they seem to know who Satoshi is, or they've got to know. They've got to know more than what they're telling us. It can't just be this mythical thing that appeared on the internet with this bloke just wrote this amazing soliloquy of a white paper, and it just whispered into everyone's ears, and it was changed the world, and no one knows who it was, and he just rode off into the sunset with 1 million Bitcoin in his wallet. It's like someone's got that Bitcoin, and that's going to come into play, I think, in the future. So I don't know. I just don't trust that. I made a good amount of money back in the day off Bitcoin. I got in at a great time and I made some money, but they manipulated it with Bitcoin Cash like 5 years ago, I think it was, or 4 years ago.
They did a split, but yes.
But then they also started just playing with the price, where they were just going up and down, up and down. They drove Bitcoin Cash to $8,000, and they drove Bitcoin down to it was like just over 10 or 12 or something at the time. It was like not much of a change. And they had a big spike for one day in Bitcoin Cash. Like I was just like, I am out. And I lost so much money when I got out at that point. I shouldn't have done it. I made a bad move. It was a what do you call it? An emotional move, which you shouldn't do when you're investing. Yeah. But I was just like, I just don't want to. Yeah. I was just like, I don't want to deal with this crap anymore. And I got out, and then they ran Bitcoin to the moon, and I missed out on all that. So I was sort of like devastated about that. But then now I'm going out. I've made all my money back now, which is great. But it's but yeah, I just don't trust Bitcoin with what's going on. But yeah, if I had $1 million, yeah, I'd probably still maybe buy one. I don't know.
Well, Donna just says there, what about Turbo Coin merging AI and gaming? I think there's actually quite a lot of people out there that are using AI in gaming now. So I don't know if Turbo Coin would be considered anything unique. For instance, the people who actually built Candy Crush, in case you remember the old game Candy Crush, well, they developed an AI to help with their coding, and now Microsoft's sacking 200 of them because the AI is now doing their job. So caution would be my point there. So AI is going to be one where you could make some money, yes, because it is a very big industry that's moving forward. But picking the right one or the right coin on our sort of market, that's a real guesswork and a lot of investigation before you do anything like that. So, Donna, don't know. You'd have to investigate. If they're new and they're in the middle of the bull market, that coin may go up really quickly. And then I would expect that it will lose probably 90% at the end of the bull market. So just be careful.
Yeah, don't round trip any meme coins or anything like that. If you guys are in meme coins or sort of things that aren't top 10 or long term, don't round trip them. If they pump this cycle, get out of them. Take your profit. There's a psychic out there who I watch for some crazy prices because it's always fun to just see all the different things that you can find. And he says to people, lick your ice cream. If you were given a nice ice cream in your hand, you wouldn't just stand there and watch it melt. You'd lick it. Make sure when you're given your nice ice cream in your hand, you lick it. Lick your ice cream. Yeah. But there's also we've also got some other one in here talking about XDC. Yes, XDC is my other top coin. That's probably number 4 on my list. Buy yourself some XDC. It's hard to buy. You can't get it on CoinJar. I'm not sure what platforms you can get it on.
That one there.
Yeah. Sleeping Global Trade, Sleeping Giant, 100%. It's going to do its thing. That's Quincy Jones. He's a young developer on XDC. Look up Quincy Jones. I was trying to find some good clips of him today, but I can only find YouTube ones that we'd get pinged on for playing other people's stuff.
Right, yeah.
So
I know what you mean. So remove that from stage and add that to stage. So XDC, which is that one right there, is actually in the top 100. And, so I've also got it starred too. So there's a joining of two minds. It says that there is something with that. Another thing that Jay 1.1 said that Bitcoin would need to run on the XRP ledger to stay relevant. Well, right, Mark might agree with that. I totally disagree with that. 100% disagree with that. The thing about Bitcoin is it is the store of value. It is the gold of the gold, right? And it doesn't need to run on anybody else's chain to stay relevant. The chains, the working chains, are where you make your money. They're like your stocks, you build up, etc. You get your blue chip stocks, bits and pieces. But Bitcoin Gold is the bank. That's where you store it. All right. So that's the way I see it.
Yeah. No, I think that's a fair point. Even though it's slow and super expensive, it works. It still technically works. So unless the governments come out and they tell you who really Satoshi is and everybody doesn't like the story and it crashes that way where everyone loses the sentiment of saying, oh, this is actual digital gold, then that's how it'll lose its value and it might become irrelevant then. But yeah, technically it's not going to be, it's going to be obsolete. I think that's a fair comment. You could say that it's not going to be used for what it was supposed to be used for. It'll be used for digital gold, where you'll have a lot of rich people around the world just storing their value that they go, okay, I need to get a loan or I need to do something else with value that I have stored, with money technically that I have stored, instead of putting it in gold or silver itself. They might put it in Bitcoin. Then they'll pull that out, get a loan, maybe sell it. Most likely people won't sell it. They'll most likely get a loan, try their best to pay the loan off, and then keep their Bitcoin in the future and let it keep appreciating so they can use it again later. That's what I'll be trying to do with my XRP in some way. But yeah, I think Bitcoin will become obsolete because it's slow and it's expensive. But yeah, unfortunately, unless we see who Satoshi really is, and we don't like that answer, it's probably still going to be that store of wealth for quite some time.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. The kids came in with a bottle they couldn't open, so they had to use,
hey, that's what Vince is made for.
Hey,
that's what Vince is made for, opening bottles.
Yeah. So a lot of that's an interesting thought, but I think it will be just a store of value. I think that's where it's going to land in the whole.
Because when I remember years ago when they bought out the Lightning Network, it started to get really slow and really expensive, and then they go, "Oh, we're going to bring out Lightning Network, and we can run Litecoin and Bitcoin on the Lightning Network, and it's going to change everything." And it did. It's just not. It's not what it was supposed to be, and that's why there's the conspiracy theorists in the sector keep saying that that's kind of why XRP was built, and that the developers that were doing their thing with Bitcoin moved over to XRP and did XRP because they saw the problems with Bitcoin. They're like, we can fix this and we can actually make it do what it's supposed to do. And we'll wait and see what the future brings. But I think they're on the right track.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, the market's gone green again. That's interesting.
Well, no, that's for the day. Okay, so if anybody's interested, this is called Banter Bubbles. It's a really good way of tracking what things have been done, and you can get it from banterbubbles.com, which is another YouTuber who does cryptocurrencies, Banter Plus, etc., and have well over 1 million followings. So if you're looking to get into crypto, they give much better analyticals than what we do. We're just a couple of Aussies gas bagging with limited knowledge. Those guys make significant money over there, so a shout out to them. But it gives you a bit of an idea. So this is the hourly, and what I'm looking at here is the top 100 in here, right? If you want to, you can choose to look at the ecosystems through here. You can also choose to look at the narrative. Say, for instance, AI. All right. There's the narrative of AI, the current cryptos that are being tracked in AI, and you can start to see what's going on in there. All right, Magic, Virtual. So out of the AI stuff, the ones that I recognize, right, is Virtual. Virtual's been around for a while. T is new. A lot of these single named coins are suddenly starting to appear. Let's have a look at this one. So this is for a day. Let's have a look at it for a year. All right, now I don't know how far back it goes. So see, that says the 22nd of July, 2025. That's not been very long. So this is a new cryptocurrency. So would I buy into something like this at this stage of the bull market? No. Right, because something like that will shoot. That might be a quick game, but that's your 10% gambling fund, right? That's all you would use there, nothing more than that. All right. So
yeah, a lot of top traders out there would say that you should already be in. You should be in your position. You should have been in your position 6 months ago. You shouldn't be getting in at the moment, kind of thing. Yeah,
well, it's still not lost. I mean, there's still chances to get in there and make some reasonable coin, but it's not going to be like you're going to make heaps of dollars because all of a sudden you're in there. But for those that have been in, like, these are trading platforms, DeFi trading, so you get to see a few of these. Pump has been in the game for a while, and they're an interesting one because they have so many new coins landing on their DEX trading platform. It's pretty unbelievable, right? So very hard to pick what's good and what's bad. You know, I've lost my gambling money in there a couple of times. So just to say that I've gambled more than once is not a good thing. But then you've got places like Curve here up the top, right? That's in the top 100 coins. So that one's worth looking into, except it doesn't want to actually open for me. Right. And we can see there that over the year it's come up 300%. So if you'd been back in curve here at 20 cents, sold out at, $1.25 or something, and then bought back in down here, it's now on its way back up. So that's an interesting point as well. So you can use banter bubbles as a quick reference, and you can choose whether you want to look at it daily, weekly, right, monthly, and yearly. And you can use the filter over here to choose your various areas that you may want to look at. Once again, if you're going to go through these, I would suggest that you're looking at the ones that might be in the top 100. If you're going to use some of your main coin to be that, say that 20% that I talked about, if you're going to use that 20% to pick that second or third tier type coin, this is where I would look. Using something like this to give you a bit of an idea, then investigate each one. See height there, for instance. That's one that's actually would be worthwhile looking at, but is it worthwhile buying now? That's the question. Or is it worthwhile buying in a dip? Let's see if we can get a page.
After a 600% pump, I'd say I'll wait for the dip.
Well, yeah. So we can see here that over the year it started at $6 something and is now $48.
Wow.
Would it be worth buying right now? Probably not. Probably not, because it's pumped so much already. But
and people kind of wonder how they pump so much. A lot of the time, there's not a lot of coins that are allocated, so you don't need a lot of money to come into that coin to make it pump really high. And you get active people, active pools of people. They work together. They come in and they buy as like thousands and thousands of people together to pump it up, and it's a pump and dump. And that's literally how they can do it. But yeah, other things are also a myth. I don't know, but yeah, what's this one? What are these ones?
Okay. So what this is a comparison of all of the actual all of the narratives.
Interesting.
Right? So it gives you a bit of an idea over the year on what narratives took what. Right? Because the narrative has a fair amount to play within the market on what's going on. So you can see AI agents has been very relevant for the last year. Meme coins, yeah, but meme coins is gambling. Let's just be fair about that. Take your chance and go for it. Doge is in there, though. On fairness, Doge is in the top 100. So
yeah, and
it's going to be there. Doge has been around for years. So Doge is going to stay.
And your lending and your gamify tokens, they're the ones I would assume in the sectors are going to really build into the future, because that's kind of that's where cryptocurrency is doing its thing.
Yeah, I agree. Gamify, while it looks low at this stage, if we believe the narrative that's coming on is that you will own nothing and be happy, they have to keep us entertained somehow. Right?
Yeah.
So Gamify, I think gaming is definitely an area where there is some money to be involved. I actually have a significant amount in one of the companies called Beam, which has been around for a while. So if that one ever takes off, I'm rich. Right? Big if, right? But then there was another one that was called Shrapnel, which I thought would be very good first-person shooter. That went the wrong way, but never mind. You've got your proof of work. You can see you've got your AI agents. Your lending is another one. Real-world assets over here.
Oh, that will get enormous. That'll be one of the biggest things you've ever seen in the end.
Right. But at this stage, you can't see them there because people haven't picked up on them.
Because that's technically gold and silver.
Yeah. Well, it's any type of it. It could be land. Yeah. It could be whatever. So, real world assets and staking
can be enormous.
All right. So that if we look at real world assets, these are the companies that are involved in that. Oh, look what happens to be one of them. Right there, XLM. All right, XDC. Is that telling you something? All right, Link over here. So there's what? Just 3 names that and Dyer is also in there. Right, so these people are involved in those areas. So that tells you something. That gives you a bit of an idea.
Yeah.
All right, so, and I just bounced myself right out of it. Okay, come back into it again. So once again, top 100, you can choose by ecosystems as well. So remember I mentioned the word AVAX or Avalanche, which is that one. So we get to see what's in AVAX. There's Avalanche there. And there's Beam. Yay, Beam. Go Beam. Yay, Beam. Right? But that gives you a bit of an idea. So that's on this particular network. And these are some of the ones. And you can choose some of these. Now, I would look at that one. BAT. That's the Brave browser for everybody who's interested. Right, that's the one for those people who use Brave browser because they don't like being spied on. Right, that's the BAT coin. That's that one right there, and that's been around for a few years now. So there's lots to choose from. But remember what we said at the start of the show? How many coins do you actually want to be keeping? All right, 5 to 10 would be my recommendations at most, and I have to go through right now and severely trim some of my portfolio. I'm waiting for a little bit of rise so that they're not 75% lost. They might only be a 50% loss. But, you need to trim. You need to be careful on what you choose. You got anything more to add, Mark?
Not to this section. We're doing pretty well. We're almost at an hour, aren't we? I only had just a clip or two that I was going to bring up from like for gold tokenization and stuff. But we can wait if you want to wait. There's no need to bring them up. But if you want to, we could definitely finish this. If you want to finish the show, we could do Trump giving it to the Fed, the Fed, the head of the Fed, Jerome Powell. Clip that was pretty funny. That'll
be interesting. King Duck said he bought a cold wallet, but now I keep seeing clips of people losing their coins and being locked out of the exchanges. You'll never lose your coins if you have your own cold wallet. You don't want a cold wallet on an exchange. You want to keep it to yourself. It should be you. So just to be fair on that, something like a Trezor or whatever would be ideal. That's your proper cold wallet. So I thought I'd bring that up. What did you have there, mate? Let me go here.
Yeah, this one. Well, these ones are good. This is gold tokenization. So this was a Wall Street veteran who once oversaw $115 billion in assets told me yesterday, the gold industry needs to lean into tokenization. It elevates gold's utility and makes transactions possible. Remember, under the gold standard, the dollar was just a token for gold. I'll let him do his thing rather than read it all out.
I think the gold industry would be well served by leaning into tokenization, because I think that would then elevate the utility function of gold and facilitate using gold in transactions. I think it's going to be harder for gold to be used for transactions in a very meaningful way until you go through that tokenization phase. And if you really want to think about it, what was the dollar back under the gold standard? The dollar was kind of a token for gold. It just wasn't a digital token, right?
Yeah, the
so
convertibility.
It's not even that new of a thing.
Yeah.
Well, the new part is the digital component of it. But that's a good thing. There's lots of efficiencies that come with that. I totally get the privacy issue, by the way. But again, if you don't have identity verification, tokenization is DOA.
So yeah, that kind of ties back at least to your real world. That ties back to so much stuff we talk about, but definitely to your real world asset sector there. That's one of the reasons why your real world asset sector is going to pump, is because they're going to tokenize gold and silver. That was really interesting. I just thought that was you got some of the people, some of the big guys coming out now. That'd be an Ainsley Bullion, I'd assume, would share the same sentiment.
Well, I just noticed at the top of that it says Coin Toss News.
Yeah, that's.
It's not our site, guys. Just letting you know, that's nothing to do with us.
That's not our site. That's my bookmark, so I know when I'm fishing through the internet during the week, I can bookmark.
Okay,
and find it again.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, doesn't it work out good? It gives us a little heading, makes me look professional. Anyway, so this one, so people are starting to say that Trump's probably going to start, because he hopefully he's going to go after the Fed. He's going to end the Fed. That's, with any luck. There's people that have been into XRP and cryptocurrency and follow Cliff High and all different things, have been tweeting out and posting on X and the Fed for years now. We're finally getting to where Trump looks like he might be hopefully going down this path, as long as he doesn't take too many steps like he seems to be doing with everything else, confusing everybody. But he gave it to Jerome Powell just in front of the cameras, and you can see Jerome Powell hates this. And it was just about a building, basically saying you spent too much taxpayer money.
So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about 3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
3.1.
3.2.
This came from us.
Yes. I don't know who does that.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added
our entire capital.
Yeah, you just added in a third building. Is what that is. That's a third building.
Well, no, but it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
It's part of the overall work.
But it's
So,
not new.
So we're going to take a look. We're going to see what's happening, and it's got a long way. Do you expect any more additional cost overruns?
Don't expect them. We're ready for them, but we have a little bit of a reserve that we may use. But no, we don't expect to be finished in 2027. We're well along, as you can see.
Nice to take these off every once in a while when we're not under too much danger. So, any questions?
I don't even know why the Fed is getting a big building anyway. What are they storing there? I mean, paperwork. Whoopee! Most of that's on computers.
Yeah, exactly. They're just wait. I mean, it's kind of good that he's like, oh, so you're just wasting more. You spent more money on this building that's wasting the taxpayers' money. I wonder if that's the point that he's making, that you shouldn't even be getting this building. You should be ending you, and you shouldn't have a job. But it was he did kind of like a Netanyahu the South African was it the president of South Africa, where he just puts him on the spot in front of the camera and says,
well, in fairness, the guy fired back pretty well. He has no love for Trump at all. You can see that 100 mile away.
Yeah.
It was like, you're an idiot. That was the response I read from his body language. So,
100%.
But
yeah, that's people like as digital asset investor out there.
So we're taking a look, and
people are worth. He's a good guy. He's all over XRP. He's kind of in the sector. He's worth following. Very, very well educated about cryptocurrency market. His comment there is the stage is being set for digital Jekyll Island. If people know the story of Jekyll Island, that's where they changed the rules under the dead of night and created the Federal Reserve back in the day. They all had a meeting out on Jekyll Island. I think there's a book about it you can read. And basically that's when they ruined everyone's life and really turned everyone into slaves. But so he's now saying digital Jekyll Island's coming, where hopefully he means that we're getting off that system and we're going to go into that system that kind of brings freedom, not slavery. That would be that'll be the turning point on that one, hopefully.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Well, with that, we're now 6 minutes over an hour. We've done it again. We came onto the start of the show, so neither of us have done any much research. You know, we'll try and make it an hour long, and here we are an hour long and still going for it. So
it's too easy.
But effectively, people, go and check out other sites. Don't just take our word for it. We are just amateurs. We're just two guys talking about crypto and what's happening in the world. We did ask last week, and that's where I was just quickly looking up, see if we had any comments from last week on how do we end our show?
Oh, yeah.
Right? How do we do that? How do we come to an end of the show? So 0 comments. Yeah, please like and subscribe. Make comments. It does help. I mean, we're here for your fun and entertainment. So happy if you to abuse us in the comments. That's fine. We won't tell you off for doing that. But like, subscribe, give the show out there to people who just want a bit of comedy, because that's what we are, a comedy duo. So feel free to come in and have that say. Also, don't forget that Voice of Freedom and FBN Network have the Donkey Sanctuary Lottery, which if I can grab, which is bannering across the bottom there, and I go to here, right? That's for $2, and you've got a chance of winning $750. Now, also to mention that, we're on our third lotto at this stage. Our fourth one is just another $750, but our fifth one will actually be $750 plus some gold. So you will get gold shipped to you in the next one. It won't be a huge amount. Come on, we're not rich, but there will be some gold in that. So please go to merch.vofhq. Let's finish that lottery off and give somebody a nice little surprise over the weekend. That would be fantastic as well. From that, from Mark and myself, we will try and get our heads together. Not that we catch up much. We usually just catch up on the Saturday night, and just keep an eye on what's happening in the market. And, you know, we'll have our little guest bags about what's moving, what's not. So remember, 5 to 10 coins, pick out the top 100, choose how you want to lay out your portfolio, whether it's going to be, as Mark suggested, just pick your 1 or 2 coins and maybe a little bit for guesswork, or split it up a bit more, you know, 60 plus 20 plus 10 or 5 or whatever you want to do. So you need to work that out. But with that, I think we should be saying good night, and we'll see you at the top of the bull market. How's that sound?
That's a great idea. Top of the bull market. We'll see you at $5 XRP next week.
Sorry, what was that?
We'll see you at $5 XRP next week.
$5 XRP next week. There you go. We can just call Mark the XRP lover. He'll be right. He's good. All right. With that, everybody, I need to find our outgoing intro and say it'll be goodbye from me, Vince, and goodbye from
me, Mark. Have a good night, guys.
Yeah, cheers.